Hey, college entrepreneurship scholars, we're back at it again, and we're talking a little bit more about your potential as an entrepreneur and the characteristics of entrepreneurs and the benefits of being an entrepreneur. So, the first thing we're going to explore here is, what are the personal benefits of being an entrepreneur and starting your own business? Uh, you know, there there's a variety of benefits, which we're going to talk a little bit about this evening. But probably one of the biggest ones is prestige. Um, the business ownership carries with it a certain amount of prestige and respect. I know when I started my businesses, people kind of looked at you in a different way. In terms of uh, recognizing that being an entrepreneur and being a successful entrepreneur represents a certain level of accomplishment. So it's a good thing, and you certainly hopefully make a significant amount of income from the business that you start, but you also get a significant amount of what's called psychic income, psychological benefit of being an entrepreneur. Okay, as an entrepreneur, there's reasons why you get significant prestige, and a big reason for that is the contributions that entrepreneurs make to the community. Uh, you start a business in a community, and as it grows and becomes successful, one of the major contributions you make is you generate jobs. You generate really nice incomes, typically, depending on the business that you start, for the people that work in your company, and they then spend that money in the community, so the community benefits. Again, when I started my companies, in some cases, in the first 8 or 10 months, I was hiring like 30 or 40 people, and those people earned a significant amount of money. They were all from the community or the local area, and that certainly benefited the community. So one of the major contributions of an entrepreneur is hiring people and creating jobs. Uh, what is a characteristic of an entrepreneur who desires to make his or her own decisions? Okay, so what do we mean by this? You know, uh, an entrepreneur is to some extent a lone ranger. Uh, Not a lone ranger from the standpoint that they're an introvert, but a lone ranger from the standpoint that they really crave independence. Uh, they really want to make their own decisions. Uh, that's a good description or good characteristic of an entrepreneur. They're confident enough uh, that they're willing to make decisions. Certainly with consultation with people, but it's their decision ultimately in the scheme of things. And sometimes those decisions are right, sometimes they're wrong, but it is, in an entrepreneur's case, that independent thinking, that wanting to make their own decisions, is a critical characteristic of success. Entrepreneurs are pretty much voracious readers and users of the internet. And the reason that entrepreneurs are voracious readers and users of the internet, as well as networkers with people in their industry, is a really good entrepreneur wants to know is as much as possible about anything that might affect their ventures. Um, and that characteristic is typically called being inquisitive. Um, that's why most successful entrepreneurs have started businesses that are typically hobbies before they even got into the actually business area. They actually had a hobby that was related to the ultimate business they started because they just enjoyed learning about a particular area. It interested them, it fascinated them. They were therefore very inquisitive, always asking lots of questions. And as a result of that, as a result of kind of knowing the business and the area and the market, they decided, hey, I can do this better. There's something missing here. And so that's why inquisitiveness is such an important characteristic of a entrepreneur. So, as I mentioned earlier, in an entrepreneurship business, it's pretty easy to identify the person that is responsible for success or failure of the business. Success or failure of the business rests entirely on the entrepreneur or the owner. There's nobody he or she can blame if the business fails, and quite frankly, there's probably lots of people they can thank for helping them make that business successful. But the reality of it is, ultimately, the success of that business depended on the decisions of that entrepreneur. So you pretty much get all the glory, and you pretty much get all the blame. As Harry Truman used to say as president, the buck stops here. Okay, so starting a business sounds cool. It has lots of prestige associated with it. Entrepreneurs are glorified and are put up on pedestals when they're successful, but quite frankly, there is lots of risk associated with starting a business. Obviously, you can mitigate or minimize that risk by doing effective planning of your venture, but there are risks and there are rewards. And one of the risks of being an entrepreneur is your income is uncertain. It's not like working at McDonald's where you're going to get paid $7 an hour if you go to work every day. I can tell you from my own personal experience, right? There were weeks when I made zero income, right? And in fact, there were weeks when I lost money. On the other hand, there were weeks where I made lots of money, and so it's just as this graph shows. It's a series of ups and downs, but hopefully you have more ups than downs, and as a result, as I've said to you in class, in business you only have to be right 51% of the time. Okay, so there are a bunch of skills which we've talked about in the first video that are basic business skills that an entrepreneur needs. Good interpersonal skills, good problem solving skills, good listening skills, good communication skills, both written and oral. Those are all basic business skills that an entrepreneur needs, but an entrepreneur also needs to understand how the economy works. That is, how the economy works is a basic business skills. That's why it's important for you guys to and ladies to be taking as many economics courses as you can, AP economics, uh, because you need to have a good understanding of economic theory, both micro and macro, so that you can relate that information to critical decisions in terms of how you run your business. Okay, our last slide today talks about another characteristic of uh, successful entrepreneurs, and that's the characteristic of working till the job is done. Uh, as Calvin Coolidge said here, one of our former presidents, persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not, genius will not, education will not. Uh, quite frankly, persistence and determination are omnipotent, right? That's all powerful. And that probably is the difference between people that really are successful and the people that dream about it, right? Is the people that are successful when they reach obstacles rather than stopping or giving up. They basically figure out a way to either go over, around, or through those obstacles to reach their goal. They're just persistent, and they're not the brightest bulbs in necessarily in the room, but they are the hardest working. And if I reflect back on people that I've met that have been very successful as entrepreneurs, as well as my own success as an entrepreneur, it's due to just not giving up, just hanging in there when the going gets tough. And as the saying goes, successful entrepreneurs, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. All right, guys, we're gonna end this one. Gonna have a quiz tomorrow again, so make sure you've taken good notes and are familiar with these terms, and we will see you tomorrow.